Hello, welcome to today's section. Today we're going to cover information about Australian visa system. I'll be able to cover all 99 subclasses, and I'll be covering what you need to do in order to do an eligibility check. So first of all, let's talk about how many subclasses we have in Australia. So Australian visa system is different to UK visa system. We have numbers, we have subclasses. UK system, it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 5, different tiers. And within that tier, they have different sub visas. Okay, so let me show you, which is from the government website, about visas. Okay, so you can have a look. We have bridging visas from what A to F. Okay, they all from subclass 0, start from subclass 0, 0, 1, 0, 10. And then we have different visas from partner visa 100, child 101, adoption 102, parent 103, 114 is aged, there is no 105. 114 is age dependent relative visas. So let me just quickly scroll down. You can see that's so confusing. And then even one subclass, one type of visa has different subclass. Depends on two areas. One, where is the applicant? Is he in Australia now? Is he outside? The other one is whether the client, how old is the client? So examples of this, if we say, where is the client? Is he in Australia or is he outside Australia? So I give you a quick example. Let's see child visa. So subclass 101 is a child visa. Okay, we have another child visa as well. We have 445 dependent child, and we have 803 another child visa. So they all have different type of visa. Why we have different type of visa? Because it depends on where is the child. Is he in Australia or outside Australia? If he outside Australia, then the subclass is 101. If she or he is in Australia, then the subclass is 802. And the dependent child visa, it's actually just special for someone who applied a child, so who applied partner visa and who has a dependent child. That dependent child can apply for this subclass. Okay, so I just mentioned, even we just have one child visa, one type of child visa, subclass is different. Depends on where is the person. And I can give you another example. Parent visa. Okay, parent visa, same criteria. Okay, family balance test, but we have subclass 804, aged parent. By definition, you can see that's age means pension age. Contributory pay age parent. Do you want to pay or not? Contributory age parent temporary. And contributory parent 140, 143. And 173, this is really confusing, right? It is really confusing. So many subclasses, and they actually the same. Which one to look? And I can give you some kind of employer sponsor visas. Okay, employer nomination scheme. Employer, so I give you the CAS TSS temporary skill. But when you do the application, it doesn't call the temporary, it called business skill. It's really confusing. So we're now talking about subclass. We have 99 currently, but I want to break this down. I want to put it as simple as take out the meat. We just need the bones. So we just need to find out how many subclasses. So we can just be very straightforward and clear with ourselves and convincing as well, because if a client asks us, we have no clue, how are we going to convince the client and say we are a knowledgeable person? It's impossible. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to give you a very straightforward slide. Okay, first of all, let me talk about employment visas. What type of visa is, or what we can call work permit or work visa, or 457 visa, or TSS. They're all the same thing. What is the same thing here? It's what they have one relationship. It is one relationship between employer and an employee. How they have a relationship, how they form a relationship from employer and employee, is they have a job offer. They have an offer. Then employer acceptance after considered is a contract. That is an employment contract. Okay, so employment contract is binding on performance. Once the employees sign the contract, this means employer intend to employ this person on certain starting day. It can be upon the visa is granted, it can be 2 months later, it can be immediately. So the relationship between employer and the employee, this is really critical point of employment visas. For example, if a client comes ask us, oh, I want to work in Australia. Okay, so do you need a visa? Yes, you do. Do you have a work? No. You have no job offer. So have you been finding a job? No. So how can I give you an employment sponsor visa if you don't even have a job? This is really simple. I don't know why people thinking, can I get job for me? If you can't get job for yourself, how can we get job for you? Is that simple? But of course, sometimes when you're in Australia, I'm saying this because when you're in Australia, someone gonna find a job for you, like recruitment agency, they can find a job for you. Or some situations, employer actively seeking overseas workers if they have work in demand. That is possible as well. I think that's way how they work. Do you have it? But they have to, in a sense, to seek for work first instead of seek for visa. Do you see where I'm come from? They seek for work first. They will ask, do you think there is a work for me in Australia? I am a skilled person. This is my experience. The first thing, as an employee or potential employee, you want to do is you put your CV first. Okay, put forward your CV. Okay, so for employment visas, we have different subclasses. So different subclass I'm just writing here, which is 457 visa. I think it's been there for a long time, but now it has been removed. Sorry, where is my pen? Okay, 457. Okay, this one, it's gone. Some people still on current workbook that they do not accept or accept new applications, so it's gone. Okay, it's gone now. We now have TSS. It's harder. It's harder, definitely harder. I think it's that harder. From the last 3 years I've been doing employer-sponsored visa, I just feel it's a lot harder. The policy not straightforward. So the subclass here is 482. Okay, 482. And we have another visas which called Smith. This subclass, it's 187. This employer has to be in regional area, regional Australia. And we have another one, this is a permanent, 186. It's a permanent visa. Okay, so 482 is temporary, 187 is permanent, 186 permanent as well. They all have one thing in common, that is a job offer. That is a job. Okay, so you can't get any work visa without a job offer. You're not supposed to get anything without job offer. So these are long-term temporary visas, but at least these visas can be granted for 2 years. Some other visas, like training visas, or research visas, other visas, they still within the employment visas, but they are much shorter. They can be granted for 6 months to 1 year. Sometimes it can be granted for 2 years. So, but we're not going to go to too detail for that temporary visas. But just let you know, it does have an other visa stream other than what just mentioned. Employment visas, they must have a relationship between employer and employee. The relationship is formed by employment contract or letter of offer. So basically it's a contractual agreement. If there is no contractual agreement, there is no visa. There is no visa. The first job, if there is no contract, then the first thing is get a job offer, seal a contract. Now we're going to talk about family stream visas. Family stream visas, still there's a relationship, and relationship between sponsor and applicant. So it depends what kind of relationship they have. If the parent relationship is about parent and children, some visas you can consider, you can think about it, child visa 101. Okay, so this sponsor, the sponsor is actually the parent, and the applicant is the child, so 101 visa. So we have another if the child, so the sponsor has to be permanent resident or Australian citizen. They have to be Australian citizen. If the child is over 18 and the child himself or herself is an Australian citizen, then that we're doing the other way around. The applicant itself is a parent. Yeah, it's a parent. It can be parents or parent apply same time, it doesn't matter. And the sponsor become a child. Sponsor is the child who must be over 18. Sponsor is an Australian citizen or Australian permanent resident. This is between parent and children relationship. If the relationship between sponsor and applicant is wife and husband, then we are doing about a marriage type of visa. It can be prospective marriage, which means they're not married yet. They are girlfriend and boyfriend de facto relationship or same-sex partner. They are not married, so a prospective marriage. It can be they're married, and that's a spouse visa. So spouse visa, some education. So spouse visa, I'll give you examples. 820. Okay, this visa. So the applicants, for example, it can be a wife. It can be a husband. It can be a husband. It can be a same-sex girlfriend, boyfriend. It's okay, as long as they meet the requirement of genuine and continuing relationship. If the relationship between sponsor and applicant is relative, they are relative, and that relative sponsor need care, someone to care them. That is a care visa. Okay. Or some other visas, like relative orphan child, then yes, that's a orphan child visa. You can see that these family stream visas really about relationship between sponsor and applicant, and then one of them must be Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. One of them. It must be this situation. They cannot sponsor without their self. So first question, if someone say, oh, I'm going to have someone sponsor me, we need to answer, oh, is this sponsor Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen? If none of the, there is no family stream visas, right? So straightforward. If someone want to sponsor me, is this person within that category of family stream? or is your just friend? You can't have a friend sponsor you, right? Okay, now we just talked about family stream visas. Now I'm going to talk about business visa. In my another video I uploaded, but it was in Chinese, so I just want to quickly cover this. Business visa is strange that your sponsor is state government. Your sponsor is state government, and applicant is a business owner. Business owner, someone can operate that business in their own country, or they want to operate their business in Australia. So state government have their own criteria. State government means different states. New South Wales state, what was that? Sorry again. South Australia and Queensland, Victoria, different states want to sponsor you, and you are a business owner. So relationship between, do you want to come to my state? I have lovely weather for you, and we have a good investment environment. Do you want to come? And then business owner say, oh yeah, I have a business. I don't know, how much do you need? The state government say, I want 5 million. Can you just put things into my state, whatever you want to do, but can you just bring that money in so that I can help our economy? Yeah, so this is a relationship between the business owner and the state government. All the procedures come from EOI, nomination, and a visa application. So in the other video, I talked about this in details. But if you have further inquiries, please send email to me below. Now, I want to talk about student visas, as you've been always doing this. Student visas, as I just showed you, that previously you have different student visas according to the schools that you're going to attend. Now, that is no longer the case. We only have one student visa, and it covers all levels. So basically, relationship between the school and the student. So for student visas, relationship between school and student. So school is about, I am who I am. I am a university. I offer a bachelor in engineering. And a student will say, oh, I want to study engineering. They match together. So this is a relationship. You're going to convince for whole process of visa grant. You're going to convince someone, which they're not here yet, but they will pop in later, which is the department, immigration. Okay, they're going to check, oh, are you guys have a genuine relationship here? What are you doing in this course? What do you want to do for this course? Have you done research about this school? What do you want to do? So the school in better position, they just give you COE, and up to you to get the visa or not. They just don't care. But for you, it's you to convince the immigration that you understand a lot about the course, you understand a lot about the school or university, and you do have a capacity to get it done, to get the course done. Okay, now I'm going to go through the next. We just covered about the relationship between the school and the student. Okay, so now we're going to move to the resident return visa. A lot of people just don't confuse about returning resident return visa. After they become permanent residents, yes, you can stay in Australia permanently, that's correct. But you have a restriction, you have a travel facility associated with that, which means every 5 years, you're gonna need to renew. You're gonna renew, say, allow you to enter Australia again. If you never leave Australia, well, that's fine, you don't need to renew. If you ever want to travel, that day, expiry date, you need to remember. The returning resident visa give the people right of residence, but the right of travel only has 5 years. So this kind of visa can be expired after each 5 years. And if it's the only requirement for the renewal of returning resident visa, it's really either you have a relationship between community and yourself. What do we mean by community? It's your Australian community. If you're in Australia at least 2 out of 5 years, no problem. You have strong community ties, right? If you've been always absent and just stay in 1 out of 5 years, 1 day out of 5 years, you don't have a strong community ties. You're gonna need to demonstrate. So this visa, just to give you an example, this visa is still having a relationship between community and yourself. Okay, now we talk about skill migration. Skill migration can be very interesting because skill migration, and also, although we do have independent skill visas, 189, but nowadays I would say difficult, very difficult. In order to get 189, you have to have 80 points, which is insane. I don't know who's gonna get this point of 80 points. Okay, so skill migration, ideally, it's from state government, 190. Okay, so this is the same thing, relationship between the government and the skilled worker. The government means that state government, means Queensland, New South Wales, it depends. And the government wants this skilled person. They want you to stay in that state once your visa is granted. So you're gonna need to, your occupation gonna be on the state government occupation list, and they want the special person. You just need to be fit in for the requirement. Therefore, skill migration is still a relationship between two parties, state government and skilled worker. Now we're gonna talk about refugee visas. That refugee visas, we have so many subclasses, can be very confusing as well. Basically, it's seekers, and our Australia as we have international obligation. Obligation is a spelling, yeah, error here. Okay, so it's about international obligation. Therefore, you need to demonstrate that Australia has obligation, their own obligation to you, must protect you. Okay, now we want to talk about citizenship. Citizenship. Lots of time when you're born into an Australian family, no problem with you, but there's special rules for special relationship. For example, for New Zealand citizen, if they came prior to this date, critical date, 26 February 2001. If they arrive in Australia prior to this date, they can become Australian citizen automatically. They just need to apply. And the other special relationship is independent, Papua New Guinea's Independence Day, which is 10th September 1975. If you arrive from Papua New Guinea prior to this Independence Day, you can apply Australian citizenship straight away. So this special relationship between Australia and the country, Papua New Guinea. Okay, that's another. Okay, did I just mention that? Yes. We have another special relationship. It's back home country. It's British parents with their children or child. So if the child was born to Australian citizen, of course you can apply for citizenship. If the child or the adult whose parent is a British parent, British citizen, no matter where you stay, you can become Australian citizen. So you can apply Australian passport. This can be passed on for the next generation. Provided that the second generation, which is the parents, who has a British parents, but themselves, at the time they apply, they are not. provided they meet the residential requirement, which is 2 out of 5. So special requirement or special relationship. So I think we now have covered all the streams. See, 99 visa subclasses only have 5 streams. And then there are 5 streams come with one thing. Relationship. Relationship between one party and another party. Between one person and another person. Between one authority and another person. Between 2 countries. Between international obligation to a seeker. Between just one thing. Relationships. 99 visa subclasses in Australia. Australian visa system is about a relationship. So when you come to clue to this, anyone approach you, you know what's it about. You know what's it about. So I'm going to talk to you about where you're going to start. Someone come to you or talk to you about this. I think I want to say this. Okay, so I'm also familiar with the UK visa system, but currently I'm focusing on Australian visa. But I will be creating more slides with the UK system, and I'll be using same method to outline all the visa system there. Basically, all the visas about one person and the other person, one party and the other party, one government and the other government. It's about two things. So when you do these things, you're gonna do 3 things together, right? One person, what about the person? The other person, what about the situation, the other person? And third of all, what is the relationship between them? How do you prove they have a relationship? If, for example, employment type of visa, relationship is about employment contract. Do you have a signed employment contract? Partner visa, are they married? So, but this is we have given you a lot of outlines about streams, but I will be very brief and talking about how do you actually start. I want to use this spin theory created from Dr. Neil Rackham. Recently, I've been reading his books. It's really good sales book. I recommend everyone have a read. Spin theory is really about how we understand situation. Client come to us, we need to understand for first thing, what is the situation? The client will come, they will just say forever. They will just say, this is my situation, bang, bang, bang. What is the problem? Do they want to? I actually got some clients contact me, and then when they inquiry, they just say, I actually don't want to come to Australia. So that is no problem, right? But of course, we will have very patiently ask them, what is your problem? The problem here nowadays is really simple, and then I think we want to be made simple as well. And nowadays, young person, they want to travel, they want to go out. It doesn't matter where it is. They just be out. I don't want to stay at home. I don't want to stay here. That is the problem. And the implications is really about why we can imply these things, how we're going to solve. This really happens when we have a visa options for them. If that's a problem, they can't find a job, they can't find a visa, but they have no employer, then we can't do anything for them, right? So just want to very brief about this. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Thank you for watching today. I'm sorry it has been long time, but I want you to not just be passively taking notes and having something like in your mind. I want you to have a think about this. There's so many materials out there. I will say a lot are really about knowledge about marketing. They write intensively article about thousands articles. They talk about this and that, so complicated. The reason why we make simple is we have better knowledge. We note the shit, so we get everything covered. I hope you enjoy today's lesson. Thank you. Bye bye.